Alright, welcome back to the channel, BS Gang. If you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, again, as always, huge shout out to the members of the channel. If you want to support the channel and myself, go ahead and hit that join button. I would greatly appreciate it. But yes, finally, right? I'm gonna go over this switch mechanic that I keep talking about. So a lot of people, when I put it in the community post, they were a little confused. Like it was half and half, yes and no, right? So I'm gonna do my best to try and explain what a switch mechanic in Grand Cross could potentially be like, / would it work. In my honest opinion, I do think it could work if they do it like how I'm imagining or visioning, but they could also, you know, change it to where it is, you know, what they want to do. But this is what I imagine it could be like. So hopefully you guys do like let me explain and don't jump the gun. I'm gonna do my best. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below, but I will try and answer them all in this video. So what a switch mechanic is, if you guys have never played One Piece Treasure Cruise, or if you guys never played Dokkan Battle, right? A switch mechanic is basically when you have a unit, but the unit is 2 characters. And what that means is, like on this picture, Gother would be blue and Merlin would be green, like how I have it, you see? And what that means is you will be able to switch mid-game. Now, of course, in Grand Cross, that would be OP if you could just consistently switch, right? But this switch mechanic is more so geared like One Piece Treasure Cruise, where you would only be able to switch 1 time per turn. So you can't consistently switch. You would have to, you know, strategize on when you switch. So if you, let's say you were in game and you had this unit on the field, you would double tap the character model, right? So when like how you hold to check the character's stats, you would just simply double tap quickly and that would switch the character and you would have Merlin instead of Gother. I think it would be good because then you would have, you know, basically two characters but 1 unit, and it'll be nice to have. Now a lot of people were like, well, it'd be kind of broken because then what about the debuffs on the character? Well, they would share everything, right? They would share stat buffs, debuffs, they would share basically everything. There are a few things that are different, but I'll go over that in the character card itself. So here I go. I'm gonna do my best to explain it. So let's go ahead and let's break it down bit by bit, right? So let's go and start off with their rarity. Of course, you already know SSR to UR, and their attributes, as you can see, is blue and green. Again, I color coded it as well. Gother is blue, Merlin is green, so yes, keep that in mind. I don't think I made this card too, like, I don't think it's the best card, but this is just an example of how I'm gonna show it, right? And a lot of you are real fans of the artwork, so cool. Basic stats. So these would be their basic stats. 5,000 attack, which is really good. Defense would be almost 4,100, which is good. And HP, almost 59k. Again, very, very good. And then their substats. Their substats aren't the greatest, but again, this isn't a festival unit. It is literally just a banner unit. So they're not going to be the craziest, but I think it's still very good to give them, you know, some good substats or some good stats in general to have. So that way people would be able to use them if they would decide to run them. But again, there ain't nothing here that's like to write home about, or, you know, that's like, oh my god, they're crazy. No, nothing drawbreaking, you know, like basic substats levels like of, you know, regular SSR. So there you go. There are their substats. So let's get into their skills. So for Gother, right, his skill 1, Royal Invasion. It does a 4-hit combo. Now I did buff this particular skill because currently I believe Blue Merlin is the only one in the game that has a skill like this. So if we check it, right, Blue Merlin has a skill where she deranks, but she also why can I spell? She also takes away the ult gauge depending, and it is AoE, right? So this is the skill that I'm talking about right here. She decreases skill ranks of all enemies. Most time it is a single hitting attack, but she's either the only or one of the few that have an AoE, you know, skill D rank. However, she does not deplete ultimate move gauges on rank 1 or 2. I thought that was a little dumb, so I did buff the damage and I allowed Gother to actually take away ultimate move gauge on rank 2 and 3 instead of it just being 3. So yeah, I did buff it. So yeah, that if it's a little stronger than usual, that's why. So inflicts damage equal to 130% of attack on all enemies, and then decreases skill ranks. Skill rank 2 does 230% and also decreases skill ranks, then depletes the ultimate move gauge by the number of skill rank decreases. Yeah, so there you go. And then 300%, and then same thing as rank 2, it's just higher percentage. So it isn't the craziest buff, but it is a buff in general. I think honestly they could make this a thing in the game too, by the way. I think they could just buff this, since Blue Merlin's pretty much the only notable character that has this, and Blue Merlin's not even that good. So yeah, Blue Gowther does have this, so it would make for good utility. It would make for good utility. So his skill 2, Rewrite Light. Now I did take his ultimate and I put it as a skill. I just thought it would be funny to do that. So his combo is only a 3-hit combo, but it does, here you go, 150% of attack on all enemies, and then it depletes one ultimate move gauge. Yeah, it is an ult depletion move, right? It is an ult depletion move. So not only will he deplete orbs on this skill, he can also deplete orbs on his first skill, which is very, very good. I don't think there's a unit in the game, now correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a single unit in the game that has 2 ult depletion cards like in their kit. I really don't. It could be like maybe they have it in their passive or their ultimate in skill, but having it on 2 skills is very like top tier in my opinion, because let's say the only way you'd be like cucked is if you really don't draw a rank 2 on either of these. But this is good because the chances of you actually having multiple cards of both is high, so you can just merge them together, which is very, very good in my opinion. So very nice, very nice. Does a 3-hit combo like I said, and then on rank 3, 250% damage, and then depletes 3 ultimate move gauges. So literally his ultimate, but in a skill form, which is nice, which is very, very nice. So again, a lot of utility going on with Gowther, especially because he does have fairly decent substats, not anything crazy, but he does do 4 and 3 hits, and he has a 54.7% crit chance. So I think that's really good, although his crit damage sucks, but I think that's pretty good. And then we go to his ultimate. So the ultimate, I made it a fusion art. If you guys don't know, spoiler alert, I don't think it is a spoiler anymore, but fusion art is what Gowther and King do against Chandler. We only see it like maybe 3-4 times, 5 at max in the series towards the end. But I thought it'd be nice to give like these Switch characters fusion arts, just combining their skills together. So I think it's unique, right? And if you notice, it does have in parentheses Gowther, which means yes, there is another variant of this. So I'll get into that once we break down Merlin, right? So for Gowther, right, fusion art Extermination Arrow inflicts damage equal to 300% of attack on all enemies, and then decreases attack related stats by 30% for 3 turns. So yes, this is Death Pierce's ultimate, which is very nice. Now he has a lot of utility going on, depleting orbs, decreasing attack related stats. It's actually really nice that he can do this. If he were to be implemented in the game, I don't know if people would run him over Green Gowther, simply because Green Gowther is the best unit in the game in terms of support, at least, right? In terms of support, he is the best unit in the game. The only thing is you wouldn't be able to run this Gowther because his name is Gowther and Merlin. You wouldn't be able to run either or. So that's the only downside to having a Switch character. You can't run any Gowthers or Merlin besides this one. So that's the only thing. But again, maybe just for fun or just for pure utility on a team that's, mainly DPS, but you have this one unit that can decrease, ult move gauge orbs on both skills, be very nice to have, and also decreasing attack related stats. So very nice. And then here's the multiplier for anyone who's curious on what the multiplier is for the ultimate. You can go ahead and pause the video, but I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So now we get into Merlin. Now currently in the game, we only have one. I mean, we have technically 2 good Merlins, the red and green one, but the green one is more so on the back burner, and then the red one you don't see as much, only for PvE content. So I think having a, another Merlin wouldn't hurt, because then you could run, something other than the, the green Merlin we have in the game right now currently. I think it would be nice to have another one. So this Merlin, right? Her skill 1, Exterminate Ray, does 5 hits, and this is, again, the red, green, every single Merlin in the game, right? This is their ultimate in skill form, like I did with Gother. So inflicts damage equal to 220% of attack on one enemy. On rank 2 becomes a debuff and then disables attack skills for 1 turn. Still the same multiplier. Rank 3, 360% and then disables attack skills for 2 turns. So again, a lot of utility going on around here. A lot of utility going on. I do think you probably would more so want to use this Merlin, like just, you know, double tap the character, switch to Merlin if you are on a mainly DPS team because of this one skill. And disable an attack skill is good, but when it's only on one character, it's not the best. So Merlin, and like when I made this unit, I was thinking maybe Merlin could be somewhat more useful as half, you know, like damage dealer and half support. So there you go. 5-hit combo though with a 58% crit chance, right? Yeah, really good. So she'll be critting pretty often. But let's go ahead and take a look at her skill 2. So Wave Dragon Assault. This is like a water-based type of magic attack. Combo 2. Rank 1. Inflicts damage equal to 120% of attack on all enemies. And then now on global they call it Blockade. I'm not sure what they call it on JP. But yes, she does have Blockade, which allows the use of only rank 1 skills for 1 turn, which is nice because then if you face a Lost Vein, they won't be able to use rank 2 and rank 3. Or if you face basically anyone, they won't be able to do anything. So it's nice to have, but the only problem is if they have a cleanse card, it kind of cucks her. So that's the only thing, but this is still really good utility because let's say you're facing a Lost Vein and you're like, oh my god, but then you switch to Merlin and you have this card, so it'll be nice to have. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. What if you have Gother and most of the cards are Gother? They share cards as well, so if you have a rank 2 Gother card and you switch to Merlin, it is literally going to switch, right? The card will literally flip in game and turn into a Merlin card. So whatever you have of Gother's skill, it will turn into Merlin when you switch, right? So if you have a rank 3 of his skill 1, it'll turn into a rank 3 of her skill 1. That's what I mean. So that's how that's gonna work, right? No, you cannot abuse it. You can't use Gother card and then switch and then use a Merlin card. It doesn't work like that. So no, right? It would literally just be a shared skill, right? So yeah, her Wave Dragon Assault is very nice. I like it. It does Blockade. We need more characters with Blockade. Currently, we only have what? Red Gloxinia and the new Shin that literally dropped a few hours ago. Those are the only 2 units that have it on global. Well, there's Wedding Diane too, but she's very limited. So her ultimate, Fusion Art Extermination Arrow. Now this is Merlin's variant, right? So there's 2 variants of this ultimate. Now this is where I think it's kind of, depending on the situation, better than Gother, right? So her version of this inflicts shatter damage equal to 420% of attack on all enemies, and then there's the multiplier for anyone who's curious. So I do think it is a little better than Gother's just for pure damage. The only thing is when you're using equipment, right, you won't be able to use a singular Gother equipment set that you have already. So no UR Gother set will work on Gother / Merlin. You would literally need to make a whole new set because it's Gother like / Merlin card. You would need to make a whole new set in the game, which does suck. But the problem with that as well is getting it to where you would have to make them an HP / defense unit just because of the pure utility. However, I do think Merlin's ultimate would still hit very hard because of the shatter, right? Shatter ignores resistance, which is very nice to have. So I do think it'll still hit hard. You definitely wouldn't want to build them with attack and defense because their cards don't have the best multipliers on it. And they are mainly, you know, utility / support. So you wouldn't want to run attack and defense on them anyway. But yeah, I think this is a little better than Gother's depending on the situation. So there you go. Really nice utility. So yes, they do have 2 different ultimates. So they don't share the same ultimate, which is very unique about this, you know, the switch mechanic that, you know, they could put in the game. Overall, I think it is very nice. So we'll go over their passive skill. Now, their passive skill is in my opinion, but it's okay, right? So their passive skill, Illustrious Ambitions, increases all allies' attack-related stats and defense-related stats by 15% when your HP is above 50%. If you go below 50%, the passive stops and it's off, right? But an attack and defense-related stat boost is very nice to have because most characters do benefit from having, you know, some type of support character that increases this, like Green Gill, Green Gother, you know, all the other SR subunits. Really nice to have this just because it helps do more damage and helps survivability. But 15% is low in my opinion. But if you do have, you know, this unit on the field, because it only applies when entering battle, you could run, I don't know, you could run Nanashi in the back. You could run Green Gil Thunder in the back. If you run Green Gil, you'll be looking at a 45% defense related stat increase. That's very nice to have. You can't run Green Gother, that's the only thing, so you can't really stack attack related stats from him. But if someone does increase attack related stats on passive and you can run them on the back, it'd be nice to have, because then you'll be, you know, basically combining it with this. So very good. Or you can even run like Blue Easton with this unit, so very nice to have. But overall, it's kind of a passive. I don't think it's like too broken. I don't think it's too good, because, you know, it has a HP threshold as well. So we'll go over we'll go over the new mechanic as well, which is called a switch effect. Now, every switch character will have this. If I do more cards like this in the future, they will have switch effects, by the way, so keep that in mind. So here we go. Let's go ahead and let's delve into it. So their switch effect is called Regality. I think that's how you pronounce it, Regality. When switching, removes debuffs on the hero, heals 10% of HP, and increases recovery related stats by 20% for 1 turn. Now this is good because they can never be debuffed, basically, right? You will always switch no matter what. Even if they're frozen, you literally just double tap and it'll break, you know, break the debuff. Now the only thing that sucks is, I guess, like, if there's a, I don't know, I don't really think you could, because if you switch in your turn, it'll remove the debuff. So I guess there's really no way of getting past this. It's kind of like when you face a story mode boss, you can debuff them on your turn, but once they go, it automatically breaks off, right? So it's kind of like that, which I really like. All you really got to do is switch. The only thing that could cuck you is if you are, like, let's say you're frozen and you have Merlin on the field and they have their ult, right? They all have their ultimate. You do have to switch to Gother in order for the debuff to break, and then, you know, hopefully have this or this, right, at rank 2. But that can cut you a little bit, because if you do have a, you know, facing a primarily strong red team or a green team, right, Gother's blue, which kind of screws you over a little bit. I mean, I know he heals and increases you know, recovery related stats, which is only regeneration, you know, recovery rate and lifesteal by 20%, but it's not really the craziest in my opinion. But, you know, it does make you think a little bit. I really think this would add a little bit of variety and flavor to the game. Plus, you can use them in PvE. They're not just a PvP based unit. They actually can be used in PvE content. The only thing you wouldn't be able to use them in is the deathmatch hell, because since they are technically 2 typings, you literally cannot run greens in like the red demon rage. You have to only run blues, so you couldn't use this unit. That's the only thing. You cannot use this unit in like hell death matches, but you can use them in like normal, hard, and extreme difficulties. You can also use them in story mode. You can use them in tower trials, right? Just anything that's restricting color based units, you probably can't use them in, because they're technically 2 typings, which does limit them. But I still think they will be very good, which is why I think they're either like S or A tier. They ain't crazy, but I did make them to where they could be usable. So all in all, I do think it is a fun mechanic that could be brought into the game. Again, you guys are gonna have a lot of questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Just try not to be you know, ignorant. Try and look at this with an open mind. Try and look at this, you know, through you know, just a game's perspective. I think it'll be fun. I really think it'll be fun for the game. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. You guys think it'd be fun to have this mechanic? If not, explain why, because if you say no, I'm literally gonna just reply why and, you know, explain it to me. But yeah, go ahead and explain it to me down in the comments below, and I will try and answer all of your, you know, questions, concerns, etc., etc. Also, I'll probably be putting up a poll on the next character to do this for, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, guys, with that said, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.